so while we're on that subject, what suggestions would you have for bridging that gap from the comfort zone to the stretch zone? My comfort zone is walk-ins, call-ins, and referrals, sitting around the office. Stretch zone is following up with leads. I can't.
Okay,
That'd be
so
a
the
problem.
stretch zone is, why don't you follow up with leads?
I feel like I'm bugging them. I feel like I've already contacted them, they didn't return my call, so maybe they just don't want it. Or, you know, it sounds stupid, but there's something simple as, I don't want to be that guy, I don't want to bug them.
Okay, so how many times have you talked to these people already?
It'll vary.
So when they were coming in for your business, do you think it went through their brain that I'm bugging this guy to help me?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I run into that problem a lot with referrals. So, like the Gold Star referrals. And following up on those is, I don't know, there's just a block there. You know.
So fear is often fear of rejection, fear of feeling uneducated, fear of, I'm not calling them this, fear of looking, I'll use the word uneducated on our business. What I know of you personally, and I've told you this many times, you are by far the most up-to-date, educated guy within that industry that I've ever met, right? So really it's gonna come down to, you just have to, when you come in, okay, so here's how we bridge the gap. What's your conversation to the follow-up call while they're in your office? Okay, so Brandon, thank you so much for coming into my office today. I'm really excited. Just know I am going to be following up with you. What's the best day and time to reach you, and how do you best like to be reached?
Almost like a date to call back.
Set it down to a close, because now when you call me, I'm expecting, you told me you're going to call. Now I'm excited that you're doing your word and you're following up with me. So it could be as simple as adding that into your conversation at the office, because now they're expecting your call on a certain day. You could take it a step further and say, go ahead and pull out your phone and put it in your calendar, because I'm going to do the same so I know that I follow up with you right at the right time.
You know, I just have to remember it, right?
Put a sticky note and a string around your finger.
Yeah, right? You know how you get rid of fear and the stretch zone gets moved? How? Systems. If you have a specific system in place that you are going to call 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or that's a big system, that's a major system for sales, that you have a system that you are going to do it, and this is how you do it, and my company is what feeds my family, and this is why. We'll get into that later on why you're doing it. If you have a system, it lessens fear, because that's the way it works. That's the system. That's the productivity system. That's what works. It creates confidence. So if you don't have a system and you're just flying by the seat of your pants on it, and you're just randomly calling people when you get to the list, yeah, you might hit somebody that you just called yesterday, and then they're annoyed with you because you just called them. If they're not on a system to where, no, I called them 3 days ago, I'm not going to call them until 3 weeks. Or I did not ask them a simple question. Can I get back to you next week? There's no fear in calling them. They said yes. They said, yes, you can get back to me next week. I will be ready to talk to you next week. If you don't have those systems in place, you will be afraid of it every time. If you create a system for yourself, then that stretch zone, or even, it sounds like almost a danger zone for you, isn't there anymore. It's comfortable because it's all in place, and then you move it to your team. And you know that things are working in a very specific order, and it works, and there's confidence, and you're still going to get people once in a while that don't want to hear from you.
For
It's
instance,
sales.
when I come in your store and I want to get into your service, what's the first 3 questions you need from me?
Who do you currently have for service? How much are you paying? And what channels do you like?
And how many people do you ask that walk in the store?
Pretty much everybody.
Why?
Because it's imperative information.
Because that's your system, right? That's your process. So the same thing for each one of our businesses, we have a consistency that we have to follow, and that's our recipe. So right now, maybe not asking that question of, hey, I'm following up with you tomorrow, so you can have that conversation. When's the best time? Prime example, my brother, right? He went with the service. You're waiting for him to call you, right? If you followed up with him, now you know he would have said yes, but we just, hey Randy, your brother didn't get home. All right, I'll call him, I'll have him call you, right?
Randy did my follow-up for me.
And
Fortune is in the follow-up.
right? Fortune is in the follow-up for sure, right? But it's about having a process and a pattern of what you do. So maybe not asking that question is you using Splenda and not sugar, right? Or so it's about having that consistency. And if you need to put a note on your desk that nobody else sees, ask for the follow-up call. Pretty soon, you're going to start asking for it. You're going to be like, oh, I forgot that note was there. You're going to put a different question on that.